First Sam!
NANI?お前、これは。
Hello, kamusta? Hi. So, this will be the second part of your lecture in comparative community policing. So, let's continue. So, last time we have discussed yung week 1 to 3, policing models, nature of policing, etc. So, let's just continue it. Pupunta tayo muna on why we need innovative policing or kung bakit kailangan natin ng mas maraming policing models in which we choose. Bakit kaya? Bakit kailangan natin ng mga bagong policing methods tulad ng i-discuss natin? So, why? Number one here is crime has become increasingly global and sophisticated in nature, which is true due to the effect of globalization. Crime also became global. Parang it happens. The coverage of crime, for example, is the cybercrime, is international, global. So the emergence itself of cybercrime is an example of that. So crime also is evolving. So must be policing. So we must innovate or we must build new methods in order to counter this. And I think we are now adjusting to it, yung Philippines. Meron na tayong cybercrime group and yung cybercrime act natin, which is good. Pero I don't think yung personnel natin is kulang pa sa knowledge ng cybercrime kasi it's it's a very very sophisticated. Parang ang hirap uh, ang hirap i-trace ang mga hacker, ang hirap i-solve kung may hack na ginawa, kung magaling yung hacker, ganun. So, ganun. We need better policing method on that. So, public expectation has grown. So, yun na. Kasi, dahil nga sa globalization, is parang people are comparing. So, for example, dahil nga nakikita ng mga tao sa internet ang police ng Amerika na ba't ang ganda? Bagong baril, ang galing din. Parang 10 within 5 minutes nag-respond agad yung police nila or yung nakikita nila sa movies na parang automatic yung pag may nag-call tapos matatrack down agad yung criminal. So, ayan, we must build new policing model which is effective and efficient so that we will meet the public's expectation, etc. And finally, global austerity challenge have increased budgetary constraints and enforced new levels of financial accountability. Did you know that creating a police force or the budgetary requirement for creating a police force is high? Alam niyo, meron kasi yung indirect causes ng crime, di ba? Which is crime is very expensive. Na kung i-compute mo, so for example, kung mag-hire yung PNP ng bagong police personnel, is compute mo yung gagastusin ng Pilipinas. So, yung sahod niya, 38K plus. Yung retirement niya, yung uniform niya, ganun. So, yung employing police officer itself is very, very expensive. So, we must create methods that doesn't necessarily be expensive, na parang effective siya and efficient pero hindi siya hindi siya nakakabutas ng wallet ng Pilipinas ng masyado. Kasi yun na nga. Yun. So, all these examples are why we need innovative or mga bagong ways to create policing methods. And I think it is evolving kasi nung 18th century nagawa yung modern policing. And until now, parang nag-evolve pa from 1930s, 1940s sa Amerika sa yung COPPS until now, nag-evolve pa rin siya. And yun na, nakikita nyo na is nag-research ako sa ibang police forces. Gumagawa na sila ng ginagamit na nila yung robot, mas techy na sila. Each police officer has mobile phone. And pero dito is I hope we could reach that level. Okay? So yun. Ayun. Okay, so let's go to the other policing method. So community policing. So last lecture is I have discussed this. So it involves the working of the police force and the community. So in order to effectively destroy crime, all must be involved, yung the community and the police itself. So pero ano kayang mga programs dito ng mga police? So one example is school visitation para mag-lecture sila sa bullying, bawal ang bullying, mga drug education programs. So yung police officer mismo ang pupunta. And vice versa, wherein kaming mga criminologists or yung mga taga-law schools pupunta rin sa PNP para mag-lecture about mga legal matters, etc. etc. Ganun. So if you could read here is ito. So additional officers to effectively respond to street-based drug dealing in the liberated housing from which reduce drug sales. So if daw police officer is parang continue to engage with the people in the community, drug sales daw drop. Nagre-reduction siya. So yun. Just read this. So another is if people, so if for example the police parang nakipag-memo sila sa barangay at nag-set sila ng parang patrol every night, then they will reduce of vandalism. Parang wala nang mga batang pakalat-kalat paggabi, etc. etc. Reclaims distressed neighborhoods. Dahil nga available yung police or nakikita yung police sa community palagi, then the people will feel safer and it will be a deterrence to would-be offenders, yung mga potential offenders na mag-isip na gumawa ng crime. Ganun. So, yun. So, let's now go to broken windows theory. Broken windows theory is somewhat yung sa term na broken windows, na if one is broken, then it can be penetrated by a rubber. So for example, ganun. So ganun din sa PNP organization. If any member of the PNP violates a small law, for example, nakasuhan yung pulis ng rape, ng isang pulis ng rape, or nakita siya na nakikigambol or ng kotong siya, di ba? Iba yung impact. Parang yung pagkita ng mga tao sa mga pulis is, ganyan pala yung pulis, mga maniakis, di ba? Or talagang mga buhaya. So, yun yung problem, yung sinasabi ng broken windows theory, na if one member commits a crime, the public perception change. The image of the police is tarnished because of that small, or hindi naman small, pero for that one mistake by a member of the PNP. Ganun talaga yung, you cannot change yung ganun na pag-perceive ng tao na lalahatin. Kasi, can you convince, parang, can you really convince a crowd? Parang, can you really change a crowd? Hindi eh. Kasi, ikaw dapat yung mag-adjust sa crowd, di ba? So, sa broken windows daw is, dapat strict yung police force na mag-enforce ng mga laws within themselves. They must be disciplined so that they will follow all the rules and regulation. Maging parang perfecto na in the eyes of the law. Para hindi magtataka yung mga tao. So, ayun. Let's go to the problem-oriented policing. So, this policing is identifying problems and trying to solve it to prevent crime. So, for example, wait muna. Let's define problem. Problem is not a crime, pero parang it's a stepping stone in becoming a crime. So, for example, nagpatrol ako. Sinabi ng chief na magpatrol ako sa kalsada. Nakita kong hindi nag-iilaw yung street light sa bandang ito. It is yung hindi nag-iilaw na street light, it is a problem. Because maybe rape will be conducted there or theft. Kasi nga, hindi or traffic related crimes, ganun. The, kasi wala ngang light or ilaw doon. Sabi ko is, let's fix that problem so that it will not lead to crimes, di ba? And another is, for example, we will visit yung mga, sa Amerika, we will visit yung mga schools to educate yung mga young people about bullying. So, sikat kasi doon yung school shooting. Pinapatay ng student yung kapwa na student. So, if we resolve the problem of bullying or self-isolation, then we can prevent school shooting. So, problem is like a stepping stone towards a crime. So, for example, another problem is there are many people on that area. So, if there are many people in that area, tendency is that yun yung target ng mga pickpocket. So, ganun. Mag-employ ng mga patrol, maraming police sa crowded people to prevent yung mga pickpocket. So, you are trying to resolve the problem before it becomes a crime. So, ito yung key elements niya. Problem is a basic unit of police work rather than a crime, etc. and etc. Hello. So, let's go now to pulling levers policing. It's like problem solving pero yun nga, nagawa na yung crime in its simplest form. So, for example daw, may crime problem na may mga gangs na nag-commit ng homicide. So, yung gagawin is, for example, mga bata yung gang. So, they will try to involve yung, for example, the DSWD, yung police. So, yun na yung sinasabi dito. Convening of an interagency to try to parang rehabilitate or intervene to that juvenile gang. So, sabi ba dito, conducting research to identify key offenders, groups, and behavior patterns. So, siguro, i-research ng isang police force, nung police kung sino yung leader, sino yung parang boss nila, sino yung utak, ganun. And siguro magkakonduct sila ng neuro exam sa mga bata para makita kung paano yung behavior nila. Sabi ba dito, framing a response. So, gagawa sila ng solution. So, for example, wawarningan sila na kapag gagawin pa nila nito, siguro makukulong sila or they will try to scare them that if they do this and that, tendency is that they will become criminal in the future. Also, focusing on social services and community resources. Yun nga. With the employment or with the convening with another agency like the DSWD, they will try to, target those juvenile gang to change. And other community institution. So, number 5, directly repeated communicating with offenders. So, sila mismo yung police, will constantly, every now and then, nakikipag-communicate sila sa juvenile group na to. So, one example lang yan ng problem ng pulling lever. So, yung dito is, in essence is, the police, together with mga agencies, is they will try to focus on one crime problem. And then they will try to change them through the convening of the agency. So, pag naman drug problem, siguro yung the convening of ano pa na kaya? Yung mga drug-related na organization, drug-related. So, for example, siguro magko-convene ang PDEA, PNP, siguro DSW pag may mga bata. Yung mga, sino may nagre-rehab ng mga drug offenders ng mga rehabilitation centers, ganun. Basta, the essence is the use of other agencies other than the police and with the use of the community so that tutukan nila yung crime problem para ma-solve. Yan ang pulling levers. Third-party policing. describes police efforts to persuade or coerce third parties such as landlords, parents, local governments, and other regulators to prevent crime. So, the goal of this third party policing is to prevent crime. But with who? So, with third parties. Who are these third parties? Sabi dito is the LGU, ano pa? Local businesses, landlords. So, for example, me, I am the COP of this Kalinga, Tabuk City. I will try uh, to parang to contact yung barangay captain ng, for example, Purok 4 para every now and then, every night, magpapatrol kami. So, in that patrol, mare-reduce yung crime, mapre-prevent ang crime in that area. So, the use of third party such as, hindi lang yung LGU, pati yung mga landlords. So, for example, ako yung COP, sabihin ko sa mga landlord, mga nagpaparentang mga, nagpapaupa ng mga buildings nila na huwag kayo magpapasok ng, for example, kapag female dormitory to, huwag kayo magpapapasok ng lalaki, yung basta-basta. Pag gabi pa. Or pag male naman, sabi ko, bawal liquor dito dapat. At yung landlord na yon, siya yung parang magpapa-implement ng ganun. Na tinutulungan ng third party such as landlord yung police para walang krimen namang yayari. So that is third party policy. Okay, so let's now go to hotspots policing. So, meaning ng hotspot, hindi yan yung wifi nyo. So, hotspots policing is, for example, a hotspot means an area, a small area within a city or a place or province, etc. has more crime or nakakamit dito ang mga crime, mas maraming nakakamit dito na crime. So, for example, Manila, Metro Manila, siguro Tondo. Mas maraming incidents ng crime na nangyayari sa Tondo. So, anong gagawin ng police pag may hotspot? Dahil kahit konti yung mga number ng police force, doon sila magfo-focus. So, maglalagay sila ng more patrol doon sa area so that crime prevention or crime reduction will occur. So, ganun lang actually yung hotspots policy. May mga study dito na effective daw yung hotspot. For example, yung Braga and Ban wherein hindi lang patrol yung ginawa, kundi for example, yung 'di ba, for example, in that area, marami daw mga gangs, mga crips, mga bloods sa isang area. Yung ginagawa is yung mga graffiti nila, yung mga yung mga sign ng gangs nila, inaalis nila 'yon para to make a statement, hindi pagmamayari ng gangs ng area. So, by that, they are conducting hotspot policy na and they are reducing yung mga crime incidents. Meron pa dito, Jacksonville, basahin nyo na lang. Pero, yung whole idea ng hotspots policing is focusing crime efforts within an area, within a hotspot area, so that the hotspot area will not be hotspot anymore or mare-reduce yung krimen yung mangyayari dun. So, let's now go to the Comstat policing. Comstat policing is parang a management style being used in police. So, dating nanggaling yan sa mga businesses, pero ginagamit na ng police. So, yung parang whole name is Computer Comparison Statistics. With the use of statistics, it can measure kasi, if with the right indicators, statistic can measure the performance of a police personnel, the performance of the police precinct or the police station, or it can measure yung crime situation, yung parang situation ng isang crime situation ng isang place. So with actually datas like number of arrests, ano pa, type of crime, etc. Maraming indicators to measure on how yung isang crime situation sa isang place, or yung measurement kung how well do you do your job as a police force or as the precinct or as the police station itself. So every week though, they will analyze the data and they will see if they met the standard na sinet nila. So for example, dapat 50, for example, sinet ng standard ng isang police station na dapat 50% ng theft is mawawala dito sa area natin. So set sila ng parang 1 month, ganun. So they did their job. So after 1 month, they will measure again. So 50% pa ng theft is nawala. So if okay, then success. Na for example, bumababa na yung mga tawag ng mga nananakawan, ganun, incidents ng nananakawan. And parang halos wala na nang tumatawag ng theft, wala nang nananakawan. Then the police efforts is success. So it's a management style using statistics to measure the capability of or the performance of the personnel or the police force or the crime situation, etc. Ganun. So sabi dito, the Comstat process is summarized by 4 principles. Accurate and timely intelligence. So, minimeasure nila yun na sabi dito. Calls for service, crime and arrest data. Dapat accurate yan na nire-record ng police para kasi kapag mali, for example, kinount mo yung mga prank na yun, edi tendency is that yung result ng pag-analyze mo sa crime data is mali. So that to get an accurate result, which is important in measuring yung, for example, crime situation, para you know yung the way you will solve it will be so that the expectation will be met. And also, it must be timely. What do you mean by timely? Na dapat yung pag-measure mo ng mga data, for example, yung pag-record mo ng mga crime arrest, dapat real time or kung nangyari na, dapat na i-record mo na. Kasi crime situation varies kasi na nagbabago yan. Na pwedeng may mga crime kasi na seasonal na in this week may yung mas maraming crime is rape. So for example, hindi timely ang pagkuha mo ng data. So for example, this week rape yung nakuha mo. Rape yung parang mineasure mo pero yung data is parang nakuha mo. Hindi. Let's start all over again. So Comstat process is guided by 4 principles. Accurate and timely intelligence. So the data that you shall collect to measure, for example, the crime situation must be accurate. Walang mga kasi inaccuracy of data means baka magkamali kayo sa gagawin yung police efforts. For example, sabi dito is sabi sa report is maraming crime na nakakamit sa area 1 at doon kayo nag-focus pero wala naman nangyayari pala, edi sayang lang yung time ng mga police na nag-focus sa area 1. Another is it must be timely. The intelligence must be timely. So for example, the data to be measured must be used at that time. Parang at that time na for example, nakuha yung record or data na maraming rape na nagaganap sa area 2, dapat na i-record mo yan para magre-respond agad ng police effort sa area 2 with the use of that intelligence. Kasi crime situation changes eh. May mga seasonal crimes tulad ng theft na wherein kapag rainy day, mas maraming theft ang nagaganap. Hindi ko alam kung bakit pero yun yung reality. So ganun. Must be accurate and timely intelligence. And effective tactic. So, kapag kinuha mo na yung parang measurement or may mineasure mo na through statistic at for example, may maraming crime na nakakamit sa area 3 na for example, theft, your tactics should be efficient. Yung how to solve yung theft sa area 3 must be effective. Kasi kapag hindi naman effective, edi wala din silbi yung intelligence or yung statistic na kinuha mo. So, yun. Rapid deployment. So, kapag may nakuha mo na yung statistic or data na maraming theft sa area 3, you should respond it rapidly or ganun. Para, kasi nga, sabi ko is, crime situation always changes because there are seasonal crimes that is happening. Relentless follow-up and assessment. So, every after ganun, after mong, for example, sa area 3 na, after mong nag-deploy ng mga police doon to prevent yung theft, or after kang mag-effort doon para i-solve yung theft problem sa area 3, you must follow up kung after a week ba, may theft or so that your assessment to your tactics will be accurate. So, sabi ng mga tao doon is, oo naman, nag-reduce yung mga theft dito. So, you know kung nag-succeed yung police operation or yung tactics mo doon. So, yun lang yung about CompStat. So let's now go to the evidence balancing. So evidence balancing is choosing the best available knowledge to make a decision in management or in choosing yung the best tactics in solving a problem. And yung sinasabi kong best available knowledge is yung dapat it is practical, must be research based, hindi siya haka-haka, hindi siya yung traditional. Basta ganun. So, for example, one example is, dapat sana, yung mga police is, they should collaborate with yung dito sa CRIM, institution ng CRIM, so that yung mga researches ng mga CRIM student, kasi research-based yun evidence-based yun or best available knowledge yun para yung mga researches ng mga student is, they will use it as evidence or parang as a guide or as additional knowledge so that they will combat more crime. So, combat effectively yung crime so, meron dito yung research daw ng nakipag-collaborate yung South Wales Police sa university, sa isang university sa South Wales. So, sabi dito is, meron silang nakalap na, for example, with the use of cognitive interview daw, may research yung isang school, tapos kinuha ng South Wales Police, parang in-apply nila yung cognitive interview and naging effective daw yung pag-interview nila sa mga witnesses. Parang naging effective yung method ng police in getting information from the witnesses. So, that is one evidence na dapat maganda yung basis mo. Research-based dapat or empirical, it came from an empirical data. Also with management, actually, yung tinatawag nilang CompStat, with the use of data, statistic, that is already a form of evidence balancing. You choose the best available knowledge to measure in order to decide on a matter in management, in managing your police, or in, for example, in using police tactics to solve a crime. So, for example, may nabasa akong, for example, ako yung COP, may nabasa ako na dapat daw nakikipaghalubilo ako sa mga kapwa ko police kahit mababa yung rank ko. So, kapag ginamit ko yun, edi mas maganda na yung parang management style ko. Kasi nga, research-based yung nabasa kong thesis, ganun. Mas maganda yung pag-manage ko sa kanya. Basta, the keyword here is using the best available knowledge to apply in managing the police force or the station within the police precinct and in choosing the approaches to a crime. So yun lang, and see you meet the next video or see me next video.